you were to ask me what I think is the most all-around build is in Destiny 2, I think I would choose this one. And for previous history, this does seem to be you all's favorite build, and honestly, it's one of mine as well. As you probably have already seen from the title or thumbnail, this is going to be all about the Void Warlock, and every single season I keep thinking that the build has gotten as good as it's going to get, but Bungie keeps throwing that on its head and keeps adding stuff or even buffing some things up, and it makes the build even better. All right, so just jump right into it. First, we're going to go over our exotic, and that is the Controverse Hold. So this has the exotic perk Chaotic Exchanger. Resist incoming damage while charging your Void Grenade. Charge Void Grenades, return grenade energy on hit. So this exotic is basically going to let you have infinite grenades at all times, and when you're charging your grenade up, it's going to give you some damage reduction, which actually does come into play with some in-game content because you could just live a little bit longer and be sure to get that grenade off. I know a lot of people do like to run Ezrac Sin or even Nothing Manacles, but honestly, in my opinion, when it comes to in-game content, Controverse Hold is still going to be your best option, but those other two are great as well. But now, since we're going to be taking Controverse Hold, we're going to need to take the aspect Chaos Accelerant. So this is basically just going to let you charge your grenade up, and your grenades are going to have increased benefits. I specifically like to take the Vortex Grenade with this build. Not only does it pull people in, it's very good for doing some extra damage. It's extremely good for ad clear, but with Chaos Accelerant, it is going to have an increased size, and the linger duration is going to last longer. So essentially, it's going to be bigger and it lasts a lot longer. Now, I'm also going to be taking Defeat the Void aspect. So whenever I defeat enemies with a Void ability, I will actually proc Devour. If you don't know what Devour does, every time you get a kill, it will extend the duration of it, and it is going to heal you to max and give you some extra grenade energy. Overall, it is extremely strong, and obviously pairing Feed the Void with a grenade-based aspect will go hand in hand together. And since you're always getting healed every time you get a Devour kill alongside the damage reduction from Controverse Hold, everything just synergizes extremely well, and you have infinite grenades with a lot of survivability. Now, I do run Nova Bomb Cataclysm because it is overall just the best for damage. They actually did buff Vortex if you do want to give this a try, but it's more so for the ad clear part, less than the damage. And honestly, if you're running this setup, your grenades are going to be the main thing for the ad clear, so I just tend to opt in for the more damage. But now fragments, I do like to run Echo of Remnants. This basically is going to make my grenades last even longer. This will pair with Chaos Accelerant, and your Vortex literally just lasts forever. I also like to run Echo of Undermining, so your Void Grenades will weaken targets. This means that Vortex Grenade now is a weakening tool, which helps out for bossing. It will debuff enemies. It also just helps the grenade kill enemies anyway, because everybody gets sucked into it. They all get weakened. The grenade does more damage. And then finally, I do like to run Echo of Instability, so defeating targets with grenades will actually grant you volatile rounds to your Void weapons. Since you're going to be killing enemies with the grenades all the time, everywhere, you're always going to have volatile rounds procced, which is an extremely strong benefit because it basically makes all your guns have mini grenades attached to them. But now, speaking of weapons, the main weapon I would highly recommend you all running is the Unforgiven. This can get some crazy good rolls. Mine does have Demolitionist and Golden Tricorn. I will honestly get back to this weapon more as we go along in this video, but just know Demo for sure is going to be your best option in the first column because you're going to get more grenade energy. Pairing that with Devour, you have infinite grenades. Golden Tricorn is another great option because when you get a kill with the gun, then get an ability kill, you get 50% more damage with this. And obviously, if you're getting an ability kill, say your grenade, you're also going to be proccing volatile rounds anyway. So you're getting a 50% damage increase alongside volatile rounds. Now, they actually did buff Repulsor Brace in a way, which is another perk you can get on this gun. Unfortunately, I do not have one. But what they did is they buffed Void Overshields to actually get 50% damage reduction now instead of the previous 25%. I think it was 25%, but just know it is going to let you be even more tankier now. And since you're going to have Demo plus everything else we've already went over, you can pretty much have infinite overshields at all times as well. So I figured I would throw that in there if you guys want to give that a shot. Now for heavy, obviously right now Linear Fusion is the best way to go. The Taipan for FR is extremely strong. You can craft it, triple tap, firing line. It is void. You're going to get all the benefits of volatile rounds. You know, any other damage increases you have, it is very, very good. Now for stats, always go 100 resilience as of right now in the game, and I do like to run 100 discipline because I want to get as many grenades as possible. You can honestly opt into whatever other stats you want to. I just have 3 on all of them just to make it look even. The main 2 stats you need are 100 resilience and 100 discipline. Now for mods to this build, Ashes to Assets is going to be very strong. You're going to gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. So you can opt in to take a Harmonic Siphon since we're going to be running all void weapons in the first place. And that will actually give you the ability to make orbs of power. It is not that needed, but that is on there if you want it. I would highly recommend running double Ashes to Assets because you're pretty much just going to get an absurd amount of Nova Bombs, which is very good for just doing some extra damage to a boss or taking out a tanky enemy that you need to kill. I also like to run elemental ordnance, so whenever I get a grenade kill, it will spawn a elemental well that matches my subclass type. So right now I will be spawning one void elemental well when I get a grenade kill. Now I do also run a SMG reloader, and this season overload SMG is a thing, so that's going to pair really well taking this into in-game content. If you do need to swap this out for whatever, you can do that as well, but I am also going to be running bountiful wells. So bountiful wells basically makes all your elemental well mods that can make wells be able to stack, but if you don't have them stacking, it will essentially just give you an extra well. So since I do have bountiful wells equipped with an elemental ordnance mod, this will now be providing me with 2 void wells instead of the previous one we had. Now I do like to run the seasonal mod energy diffusion substrate. This gives you a small amount of damage resistance to every single element, which is nice. I do have a custom dampener thrown on there as well. Obviously you can swap these out for whatever you're going into, but I do also run a phantomite. So this is going to give me a damage increase whenever I pick up an elemental well that matches my subclass type. Since I'm getting a bunch of grenade kills and making void elemental wells everywhere, I will be getting pretty much infinite phantomite 24/7, and phantomite alongside golden tricorn and even things like volatile rounds will all stack, and you just get a crazy amount of damage increase for your primary weapon, and it also will work with your heavy since it is a void weapon. So if you can manage to get a grenade kill before you go into a boss fight, pick that well up, you will have this Taipan doing even more damage than what it normally is capable of, and it is just absurd. Now for my boots, I do have a linear fusion scavenger just to help out with some ammo. Invigoration I have equipped just because I have 1 point left over. This isn't really doing much for me, but I do have it on arc because I do take seeking wells. This makes all my wells that I create actually track to me. This just helps out with the flow of the build. You get a grenade kill far away, the orbs are going to track to you, give you some energy, give you phantomite, and it really does help out with just making sure you can keep your buffs up 24/7. And then finally for my bond, this is probably where things get the most interesting. But just to start off, I'm going to be taking Well of Tenacity because this also makes it whenever I pick up a Void Elemental Well, it will reduce incoming damage. This will actually stack with 100 resilience, so you become even tankier than what you already were. You have your Controversial Hold giving you resistance, you have your 100 resilience giving you resistance, you have Well of Tenacity giving you resistance, and you have Devour constantly healing you every time you get a kill. And since you're always getting grenade kills in the first place with Controversial Hold, you're always going to be proccing Well of Tenacity and even Phantomite extremely easy because of Seeking Wells. The flow of the build is just to get a bunch of grenade kills and get a bunch of buffs essentially. But for our other mods on our bond, we do have access to Lord Kelvin's Basilisk this season, which makes your Void Grenades be able to disrupt champions. I would highly recommend taking this. I don't have it unlocked quite yet, and right now I just have a advanced scout slotted in. This makes whenever I stun champions, it takes additional damage for teammates. This is also very good, but one of those mods are going to be very good. It's very nice to pair one of those and to help when your teammates out. Now the main mod is Monochromatic Maestro. I've made a video about this, and this is going to be appearing in a lot of builds because this mod is extremely strong. So what this does is essentially dealing damage with an ability will give you more gun damage, and dealing damage with your gun will give you more ability damage. This does have to be matching with your subclass type. So essentially my Unforgiven's Void, and I'm running a Void subclass, I will be getting more damage for both my abilities and weapon pretty much 24/7. It is only a 10% damage increase, but it does pair with everything. So now we have Monochromatic Maestro, we have Phantomite, we have Volatile Rounds, we have Golden Tricorn, all giving me a damage buff for my primary weapon that can just slay out like crazy, alongside again your heavy weapon being able to take advantage of all that as well. All that paired together is extremely strong, and you have almost infinite uptime on everything because of your Controversial Hold, because of your Elemental Wells constantly giving you all these things. And we only mentioned the weapon damage. Monochromatic Maestro also gives you ability damage for your grenade to actually end up killing stuff a whole lot faster, to just keep this chain going over and over again. There is literally nothing this build can't do. You have infinite survivability, you have infinite abilities, you have infinite damage for your weapons, and you can also support your team with weakening enemies with your grenade because of Echo of Undermining. So earlier when I said I think for all around type builds, I think this is the best as it gets. You have pretty much infinite everything, you support your teams, you get a bunch of damage increases, and you get a bunch of survivability. I honestly love this build so much, and again, if you do want to run Repulsor Brace, that is an option to help out with survivability, but you don't really need it with the amount of everything going on for you in the first place anyway. But all right, that is the updated Void build for season 19. I probably will have additional Void builds coming out with other exotics if you guys would like to stick around and see those. I actually do want to try that series out where I do a build with every exotic where I was talking about in the past, because I think that could be a lot of fun. But if you guys do want to try this build out specifically, I will have a dim link to it in the description below. And if you guys did enjoy and learn anything new, consider subscribing, dropping a like, and turning notifications on. Also, if you'd like to join my Discord or follow me on any of my socials, all of that will be linked in the description as well. But just know watching this video is way more than enough, and that every single bit of support from you all is truly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching this one, and have a great day. Peace.